Okay, hello guys. We are here with a different channel than Chilling Scares. This is the Y Files. I have subscribed and liked. They're pretty popular. They have a lot of videos on supernatural stuff, unexplained stuff. But basically, I am telling you, I got recommended this video. Like, not on my channel, just from people I know, Reddit, whatever, like hundreds of times, maybe not hundreds, but this specific video, if you want to know about crop circles, basically. And you know, I don't know too much. I mean, I know what they are, but basically they said if you want to learn exactly what they are, watch this video. So this is either going to be a 2 or 3 part series here. I don't know if I'm going to split it into I'm probably going to watch the first 20 minutes here, maybe do the last 35 in a second, or maybe split it into 3. We'll see. But let's get into it. I will link this channel in the description and the end screen. Okay, here we go.
This episode of the Y Files is brought to you by Huel.
Huel. Wait.
In 1974,
I just saw
a group of
Huel
scientists
ad
beamed a
today.
message into space. The message, meant to be received by an intelligent alien species, described life on Earth. Written in simple binary code and using the most powerful radio telescope on the planet, the message was broadcast to a dense cluster of stars in the constellation of Hercules. This exercise was just ceremonial, a way to demonstrate new technology in radio astronomy.
I did not
Nobody
expect
was
this guy
really
to sound like
expected
this.
to receive it, and even if they did, it wouldn't be anytime soon. The nearest star in the direction of the broadcast is 25,000 light years away. So the telescope was tuned to 2380 megahertz, aimed at Hercules, and fired up. The scientists congratulated each other, shook hands, and went on with their lives. But 27 years later, something very unexpected happened with that message beamed into deep space. Someone wrote back.
Did they? Okay, for time reasons, I have skipped the sponsor, but I mean, I guess check
One
Huel
morning
out.
in 1966, George Pedley was working his farm in Tully, Queensland, Australia, when he heard a strange buzzing sound. He climbed down from his tractor and started walking in the direction of the sound. Then he saw a circular craft slowly rise above a section of swampland not 50 feet from where he was standing. The craft hovered for a few seconds, shot straight up into the sky, and disappeared. When George went to investigate, he found a large circle of reeds had been pulled from the swamp and flattened into a disc. The circle was 30 feet across, 2 feet thick, and arranged in a clockwise swirl. Because of the swirl and the thickness of the reeds, locals called the formation a UFO nest. But what this actually was a crop circle.
It's like perfectly fallen.
Since the 1960s, thousands of crop circles or crop formations have been found. They've been seen on every continent in almost every country on Earth. But the epicenter for crop formations is Wiltshire in the southwest of England. Crop formations range from the very simple to the very complex. Formations can be circles, stars, and other
saw one
geometric
crop
shapes,
circle
but some are pictograms,
was
though nobody
pi.
knows for sure what they mean.
Like the number pi.
Though every formation is different, they have a few things in common.
If you counted
Recognizable patterns that are created
patterns,
very quickly,
it literally
usually at night.
had pi.
The creation of these patterns is always associated with some kind of light, either a beam of light or an orb of light.
We'll see if he talks about it in this video.
Whatever that is, that's moving outside. Oh my god.
Though crop formations seem like a new phenomenon, there's evidence they've been appearing for a long time. In the 9th century,
Really?
Abelard, the Bishop of Lyon in France, wrote about parishioners who were possibly engaged in devil worship or paganism. They were collecting seeds out of flattened circles in the fields and using them for fertility rituals. In 1686, Robert Plot, a professor at Oxford, wrote about crop circles. He even drew pictures of a couple that appeared near his home. He said they were formed by a flash of light. And once they were formed, animals wouldn't go near them. Around the same time, a pamphlet was released called The Mowing Devil. It describes how a farmer woke to see a bright light in his field that he thought was fire. When he went to investigate, he found a crop circle. It's called the Mowing Devil because the farmer said the circle was so neatly mowed that it could not have been done by a mortal man. John Leland served as librarian to Henry VIII. He wrote about patterns appearing in grass overnight. In 1937, a British science journal reported circles found in a field of barley and even included one of the first photos taken of a crop circle. In 1945, this photo was taken by a balloonist working for the RAF Parachute Training School. In 1952, the U.S. Air Force investigated circles found in Kansas. In 1963, Sir Patrick Moore, an astronomer writing for the New Scientist journal, investigated a formation in Charlton.
In the wheat fields were features taking the form of circular or elliptical areas in which the wheat had been flattened. One very well defined was an oval, 15 yards long by 4.5 broad. There was evidence of spiral flattening, and in one case there was a circular area in the center in which the wheat had not been flattened.
One of the texts discovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls is the Book of Enoch.
I mean,
Enoch talks about lightning leaving marks on the earth. So these formations have been seen since the beginning of recorded history. And even though thousands of circles have been found, and many people claim to witness them forming, no one had ever caught it on camera until 1996. John Whaley was camping out on a hill in Wiltshire called Oliver's Castle, named for a fort that was built there many years ago. Around 3 a.m., something caught his eye. He grabbed his video camera and captured footage of several glowing orbs hovering over a field. Then, like magic...
What?
Whoa!
Excuse me? We have, like, video proof of aliens?
Here's the formation from the air.
Can you fake videos like this in 1996?
Nobody can agree on what crop circles mean, though most people believe they're messages.
Wait, hold on, we're just skipping over that? What the hell?
Of several glowing orbs hovering over a field. Then, like magic...
Excuse me? In 1996? I mean, you can't really fake videos. I mean, I know you... I mean, you can fake them, but you can't edit them like you can now. That's from the sky. I mean, you could do... You could definitely fake that nowadays with a time lapse or something. But...
Nobody can agree on what crop circles mean.
I mean, he's just like skipping over that.
Though most people believe they're messages.
I've never seen that video.
To
That's
many
insane.
researchers. They say whoever's making these, why don't they just speak English? Well, in 2001, they did.
Is he gonna show the pie? I want him to show the pie.
Intelligently controlled.
It's always orbs of light. I mean, they speak through symbols if we're, assuming they're aliens, right?
You see, the object came down and it stopped for a long...
It's always orbs.
There's no movement in the prevailing wind.
Oh, and now it's just speeding. What?
I can't think what that is.
So this is in slow motion, and it's still that fast? These are filmed by Andrew Buckley. 2000? 2007? Oh god.
In 1974, the Arecibo message was sent from Earth to a cluster of stars in the Hercules constellation. It's called the Arecibo message because that was the name of the giant radio telescope used to transmit it. The team that created the message was led by Dr. Frank Drake, with assistance from Carl Sagan. The message was 1,679 binary digits that could be converted to an image, designed to convey information about civilization on Earth. It starts with a representation of the numbers 1 through 10. This provides a key to the rest of the message. Next, atomic numbers of hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus, which are used to make up DNA. Carbon is at the top because it's the most dominant in forms of life. The message shows more information about DNA, including the double helix structure. Toward the bottom, a figure of a human, its average height, and the population of the Earth, which was a little over 4 billion at the time.
Wow.
Next, our solar system, starting with the sun and moving out to Pluto. The Earth is shifted up to identify the planet sending the signal. At the bottom, a graphic representing the Arecibo radio telescope. Now, the nearest star that could possibly receive the message is 25,000 light years away, so we couldn't really expect a reply for another 50,000 years. But on the morning of August 14th, 2001, a formation was discovered right next to the Chilbolton radio telescope. Now, even if you don't know the full design, when you're on the ground, you can tell you're in a crop circle. There's structure and uniformity to it. But this new formation was different. It was a mess. It wasn't symmetrical. Nobody could make sense of it until it was viewed from the air.
Holy
A face. And 3 days later,
A
disappeared.
face?
This became known as the Arecibo answer.
Ay, Chihuahua!
The formation
fish
uses the
talking?
same 23 by 73 grid.
Wait, yo.
The top line shows the numbers 1 through 10, just like the original, but the reply shows silicon as the main element for life, not carbon.
Silicon. Wait, this is
Their
insane.
DNA is shown as having a third string. In the center is a humanoid figure about 4 feet tall with a large head, and their population is about 21 billion. Below the figure is their solar system. They appear to occupy 3 objects in the system, the 3rd and 4th planets, and then there's another shape that could mean a planet or some other object or structure. On the human Arecibo message is a picture of the radio telescope, which was used to send the message. Whoever sent the reply seems to understand this. So what is this design meant to represent?
Yeah.
Well, just a year earlier, this formation appeared in the same place. Is this the same object? Is this crop formation
like
a
it.
representation
It looks
of
just like
a
it.
machine used to communicate through space?
Wait, so in this same place, they had a face, they had a response message, and then they also had the thing.
Again, frustrated researchers and
Wait, hold
skeptics
on.
agree on something.
Wait, this video is
Why don't they
insane.
just speak English? Well, almost exactly
don't speak
1 year
English,
later,
right?
this formation appeared.
My brain just exploded.
Okay, Hecklefish. Yeah, if you guys were confused on what that was, it's apparently the fish that's with him. Oh my gosh, it's literally a face? Is this the one that's supposed to be pi? Or it's where if you count the spaces between the bushes, it makes like letters or numbers.
Once again, we see a
insane.
face, but that's not a human face. And just like the Arecibo message was broadcast in binary code, the disk formation also contains binary code. And for the first
Yeah.
time, we get an actual literal message. The code was translated to letters using ASCII, the encoding standard for electronic communication.
Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time.
Believe.
There is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit
Close.
Whoever it is that wants to communicate
What?
with us is using
Wait,
We oppose deception.
we have this much evidence?
Close.
Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe. There is good out there. We oppose deception. And then conduit closing. Okay, I mean, what does this mean? Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. I mean, are we trying to say beware of other aliens? But believe that there's good aliens? We oppose deception, maybe? I mean, if this is really aliens putting all these messages, they must think we're real stupid for not like accepting this in our culture. I don't know, because I didn't know about any of this. I mean, this should have been mainstream news. Like, you think, I mean, we don't know if it's all true, but if it all, is, then you'd think we'd all accept the idea that this is aliens leaving this. I mean, most people do that watch these videos, but they're probably like, really? We did all this and you guys still don't think we're real? Okay. Yeah, that's probably their exact reaction.
Whoever it
What
is that
happening
wants
on
to
green
communicate
screen?
with
Sorry.
us is using many different means.
I'm hitting my
In
camera, I'm sorry.
2004, Robert Ridge was deer hunting a few miles outside of Roswell, New Mexico. Half buried in the dirt, he found a strange rock. On the rock is a geometric carving. Robert grabbed it and didn't think it was anything more than a cool rock someone lost at some point. But he didn't keep it a secret. He showed it to friends and anyone who was curious about it. It didn't take long before strange discoveries were made about the rock. For one, it's magnetized lodestone, which is not a kind of rock found in that area. And under a microscope, the Roswell Rock is extremely smooth. There's no carving marks or indication of sandblasting. But the most fascinating discovery is that in 1996, 8 years before the Roswell Rock was found, this crop formation appeared. The designs match up.
They match
Some people
exactly.
think this design is a message. Others think it's a map.
Insane.
Still, others think the Roswell Rock, the Arecibo answer, and all crop circles are nothing but a hoax. But who would create such elaborate hoaxes, and why? Well, in 1991, we would get the answer when a British newspaper ran a front-page story with the headline, "The Men Who Con the World."
Oh no.
Hecklefish, shut up. I'm sorry.
This is how I get paid passive income from Apple's App Store without ever making any apps myself.
Too bad I'm skipping it.
On September 9th, 1991, two retirees in their 60s confessed to starting the crop circle phenomenon in 1978. Doug Bauer said the idea came to him one night in a pub. He was living in Queensland in 1966 when the Tully UFO left behind that circle of reeds.
Perfect.
Doug thought it would be fun to trick people into thinking UFOs were landing in wheat
all
fields
around the
in
world on
southern England.
every continent.
He enlisted the help of his friend Dave Chorley. All they needed to make a crop circle was a wood plank, a bit of rope, and a twisted piece of wire. At first, their designs were simple and crude, but over time they became more and more complex.
And you could center this through this ring, walk straight towards it, and lo and behold, you got the lovely straight line that you could wish for.
International media picked up the story, and the mystery was solved. Crop circles were nothing more than a couple of amiable old fellows playing a prank, and that was that.
That's it? End of story? It's kind of disappointing.
Oh, we're just getting started.
Oh, go on.
Doug and Dave might have created a few crop circles, but their story has a lot of holes. They demonstrated their circle-making technique, and the results were janky. Most crop formations, even back then, were much more precise. Doug and Dave's formations were out of alignment every time. The more complicated the design, the worse the formations were.
Perfect.
During one demonstration for a news crew, Doug attempted to reproduce one of his circles and accidentally made it twice as big as it should have been. Then he just gave up on making it. And their story changed over time. They said they started making circles in 1976. Then it was 1975. Then it was 1978. In fact, they never could agree on the year they actually started.
Before that.
Now, they claim to have created certain circles and then later said they didn't, but they helped people who did. And Doug and Dave said they created this famous crop circle in 1983 called the Cheesefoot Head Circle. Doug showed a diagram of it, but his diagram had footpaths in it. The circle had no paths. It had no disturbances of any kind. When asked how they created the circle without making tracks in the crop, Doug said they pole vaulted into the field.
Whoa. Did you just say pole vaulted?
Yep. He said in an interview that you should have seen us running through the fields with our sticks sailing over the corn.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Pole vaulting over the corn
over and over? Apparently these men in their 60s pole vaulted into fields carrying their wood boards. They laid down a perfect crop formation and pole vaulted out again. Now, Doug looks pretty fit for an older guy, but he's getting winded walking in a circle. Pole vaulting seems a little outside of his athletic range. They also added details to their story as other crop circles were found. One day, a couple of people investigating a circle told Doug they were looking for a jelly-like substance that was found in a formation. Doug told them it was probably waste ejected from a plane. Later, Doug had a story about making a crop circle, and while he was doing it, he got hit in the head with a piece of frozen waste ejected from a plane's toilet.
And they call those Boeing bombs.
Right.
Yeah, big old frozen chunk of poopy.
He stumbled back to his car, dazed with blood trickling down his face.
Wait, really?
The problem is, planes don't dump waste over that area. It would be illegal, dangerous, and disgusting. Another story came out about people finding bits of metal thought to be meteorites at crop formations. Soon after that, Doug and Dave's crop circles had little bits of iron scattered all around. So, a few things.
These guys
did
not
Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley create some crop circles? Yes. When Doug and Dave came forward, about 1,500 crop circles had been seen in at least 23 countries.
Oh, well, you can't pole vault to Belgium.
Right, even Doug couldn't do that. But they inspired a lot of copycats. Soon, most crop formations were man-made. So, is there a scientific way to tell if a crop circle is not a
Yeah,
hoax, but
I mean,
genuine?
you can check the geometry.
There is.
How accurate it is. Okay. It's a great video, guys. If you guys want to come back for part 2 or part 3, I don't know how many I'm doing, but there will be another part, but I do have to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, channel will be linked. It should be on screen. A recommended video for you should be as well. They'll be in the description. You could watch this video without me and then rewatch it with me to see my reactions, or just wait for the next part. But anyways, please subscribe so you see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye.